that about membership, you've already begun to see that this is a network of networks. And not to agree with Omar, that this is not an exclusive thing for trade unionists. It is an inclusive process for everybody who wants to engage with AU on media matters. So whether you are a media owner or a trade unionist or a support group, we want to create an inclusive forum. This is not the chance for us to begin splitting hairs and say this would be the wing led by trade unionists and this would be the wing led by media owners. Because that's where the problem of scuttling African effort starts. And then trade unionists, media owners, support groups, this is the time we need to begin to see how do we channel our voices to influence policies and engage with AU from a formal level. So I know AMI has its own challenges, but if the structure we are creating is only saying media owners will get into this through AMI, the process is not captured by media owners. So it is good for Omar and others to point out the fears, but I think let's not be beholden to the fights that we have in our other agencies to bring them again to the Pan-African network being created. So having said that, I think clarity about the scope is that I see the scope has a number of issues we've pointed out that we want to engage in. But the clear thing is that we want to engage on these issues vis-a-vis what the AU is doing towards them. So there are things we do that are outside the AU's engagement, and those we will continue to do. But with the understanding that we now want to influence AU's decision around these issues, and that's what the engagement is going to be. That does not mean, in our setup, Jeanette, the more the merrier. We are still a continent where one voice can be scattered. Honorable Gitobi Manyara will tell you this, that if he had 10 people doing the kind of work he was doing in Kenya, perhaps we would have gotten our second liberation earlier. So if we know that the AU continues to be a captured space for heads of state, and sometimes they do not see the change that we are talking about, it takes a longer time for them to see these struggles. When they see them, sometimes they say, you're just a voice of the others. It's not an African voice that is saying, liberate the airwaves in your country. Restructure the state broadcasters to public broadcasters. As we speak, none of the state broadcasters has been reformed. In fact, previously it was Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation and South African Broadcasting. The two of them are slightly backwards into state broadcasting. So, from an AU point, is this something we need to be changing? And is AU willing to step up and tell its members, come on you guys, this is a wrong premise. It will not deliver development.
Thank you very much.
That's what I want us to be very candid, Gabriel. This hat you are carrying from AFMD, kindly put it backwards. Otherwise, this discussion is going to be distorted and we will get into the wars you guys have been having in your other networks, which I wouldn't want to be part of today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that brilliant intervention. We will take 3 more speakers and then we react and then come back to you. And as I said, it's an open discussion. My friend Taswea from...
Thank you. My name is Davis Adiano from National Taxpayers Association in Kenya. I'm looking at the membership in the concept note, and I'm a little concerned. We are talking about engaging the AU from a different perspective, but usually the main inhibition or hindrance to media freedoms and policy regulation is in the individual countries where they set up regulatory frameworks. Like in Kenya, we have the Communications Commission of Kenya. We need to have a deliberate sort of effort going towards engaging those particular regulatory institutions within the country so that they look at this from a broader perspective and understand what you are doing, so that you don't hold meetings and come up with certain policies that when you go to the individual countries where the journalists and the media and all the other non-state actors are engaging, and you get policies that do not allow you to implement whatever it is you've discussed. So we need to see membership of state agencies so that we move together with them. As we discuss changes in policy, they move with us, and it will be easier to change the regulatory and policy frameworks within the individual countries and then bring it to the continental level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our sister, and then Jean-Pierre, and we close this first session.
Thanks. Good morning, everybody. My name is Amina Frenzy. I'm based in South Africa. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm with the South African National Editors Forum and also the Self-Regulating Press Council. Some of the points have been eloquently raised by my colleagues, and I wish to have an interest in the governance structure. I have an interest in what my previous colleague Henry has raised. So I will not repeat, but my concern is what has the relationship been between AFMD and the AU so far? What is the history of that relationship, and what are the challenges, really, to repeat something that has been said already? But let me tell you that I'm not interested in the history or what name or whatever the case may be. But I think we are sliding. We are losing some of the gains that we have made in Africa and also in South Africa, which is one of the most liberal constitutions in the world that we're very proud of. We have fantastic governance institutions in South Africa, but right here we are faced with repressive legislation. It comes in several names and several guises and things like that, but what is very, very topical, and some of us were engaged in a march on Parliament on Saturday, the anti-secrecy law. So for consideration, the challenges of the relationship with the AU, because I think this is probably what has brought about a possible new name or a new body or something like that. I think those need to be addressed. I think it's very noble what has been stated there, building the capacity of African media professionals, ensuring access for all to free, reliable and pluralistic information. Are we there yet? I don't think so. I think we are on a slippery slope, and we have lost ground. Independent media, the free press, the democratization of our society, and for me, that is what needs to be addressed. Whether it is another body or not, it doesn't matter, but it has to be effective, and there needs to be an effective relationship, an effective intervention, and not, confined to the pomp and ceremony of heads of state, and you won't have a voice because you don't belong to a recognized media organization. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Amina. Jean-Pierre, just next to you, please. Yeah.
I'm Jean-Pierre Boudot. I'm Special Advisor for Communication and Information at the UNESCO Liaison Office to AUC and the UN Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa. Just to bring our support to this network, the Pan-African Network, I would like to say that the network of Center of Excellence and Centers of Reference on Journalism Education that we are dealing with, UNESCO has been able to create them, is going to be happy and to be part of this network because so it's inside, and will give our support by training journalists, and also I would like to be very clear on the functions and roles of this network. We have to be really critical vis-a-vis what is going on in the continent, not to be part of a kind of forum where people come and discuss, never finish discussing about African issues, but we need really to be a kind of counterpart within African affairs at the AUC level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have completed a list of 10 speakers. A number of certain questions have been raised, and I think the three of us on the high table will be taking the floor one by one to answer. And then I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Habiba for her answers. Thank you.